Welcome to Spokane Talks, where you find news, views, and conversation that includes respect for opinions, facts, and diversity. Spokane Talks is brought to you in part by McNeice Wheeler Attorneys, River Ridge Hardware, and Rana Paint.
Welcome to Spokane Talks. I'm Ryan McNeice. Thanks for joining us for more news, views, and conversation. We have a great show for you this morning. Next up on House to Home, join Clyde Haase as he talks to Larry at River Ridge Hardware about preparing your house and property for the spring, if it actually is going to arrive.
I'm one that I like the four seasons, so get outside and at least throw a snowball.
Then, Startup Spokane, Spiceology. Host Steve Trabun talks with Pete Taylor, co-founder of Spiceologist, about his Spokane-based startup. It is the #1 fastest-growing spice company in the U.S.
We sell over 225 different ingredients, spices, herbs, chilies, blends, salts.
But first, business talks. Hannah Mumm, the Valleyfest Misspoken Valley Scholarship Program Supervisor, will discuss the 6-week career skills training program. The free empowerment workshops will feature many of Spokane's female leaders as guest speakers.
All things like that, all taught by women for these young girls to get involved in our city.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. Here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
Welcome to Business Talks. I'm Ryan McNeice, and we're here in the studio with Hannah Mumm, and we're also here with Peggy Doering of Valleyfest. Thank you both for being here. The topic of discussion today is the Misspoken Valley Scholarship Program, and Hannah, you were the 2016 winner at Misspoken Valley. Now you're at Whitworth, and you have circled back as a volunteer after, I think it sounds like, having a very positive experience with Misspoken Valley, but now moving the scholarship fund in a very progressive direction. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so all high school aged girls in the Spokane Valley are invited to attend our career training workshops. We have them Thursdays at 4 o'clock at Washington Trust Bank on Sullivan, where we'll be teaching skills like media literacy, resume building, confidence, interviewing, public service, volunteerism, local government, all things like that, all taught by women for these young girls to get involved in our city.
It's so exciting because it's being taught by women that have probably been in situations where they also wanted to have mentors in these areas, and the program is providing that. Tell me a little bit about the difference between a pageant, if you will, or competition in the scholarship program.
Right. So to use a couple buzzwords on the pageant side of things, I'm thinking, evening gowns, swimsuit portion, having to give an answer in about 30 seconds. I'm not sure what the time limit is, but somewhere along those lines. Our scholarship competition will be all conducted in business casual wear, which I think will be more relevant for these ladies taking the next step forward in their lives. It'll be based on their public speaking. They'll be giving speeches, they'll be answering questions about history and our community on stage, and we'll be getting to hear from them.
I think it's so exciting. As a father of a daughter, I find those particular skills and the way you're doing that program very relevant for our time and a kind of a welcome change.
Thank you.
It's also exciting that I think you've had quite a bit of success, the leaders in our community that you've reached out to speak at these programs. Have they been very open to helping out?
They've been awesome. They've been so receptive.
That's exciting. Peggy, are you excited about where you've seen the program go over the last several years?
Yes, I am very excited about it. And we started the program in order to reach out to other communities, to have the Spokane Valley represented at different community festivals and parades. And we're still doing that, but we also have been asked to do a lot of community service projects. We're working with the Greater Spokane Valley Rotary, I believe is the correct name, and we are doing other service projects in the Spokane Valley as well as a result of bringing forth these candidates who are so interested in.
And it's working. It's
Yes.
working. Let's take a quick break and come back and talk about the program.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking about Spokane Valley, Misspoken Valley Scholarship Program. We're here with Hannah and Peggy. What's so exciting about this program is from a pragmatic standpoint, you are adding pieces to the puzzle, whether it be resume building, branding, social media, interviewing skills, really turning this program, again, away from a pageant per se and more into what I'd call relevant for the job world or whatever environment these young women want to be in. How are people in our community going to find out about the new changes to get involved in this program?
Yeah. Community members are certainly welcome to follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, our Valleyfest page. We're also collecting hygiene products for a drive we're doing as a part of our Misspoken Valley program. We're partnering with Project Beauty Share to deliver hygiene needs like sunscreen, razors, lotions, all things like that, and all of which are available on our website. So if you're not a Spokane Valley high school age girl and you'd like to get involved, then we'd love to be able to talk with you about donations.
So let's just go back to the Facebook page. Is it Spokane Valley Fest, or what's the exact?
It's Valleyfest.
Valleyfest, and then the website is?
Valleyfest.
Valleyfest.
All things Valleyfest here.
Valleyfest.org.
Yes.
Valleyfest.org for the program. And where are they going to find you if they physically want to come to Valleyfest for applications, et cetera?
Yes. We're at 10814 East Broadway Avenue. We're in the Spokane Valley Partners building.
Okay. How many applicants do you believe are you working with this year?
We're not sure the amount of applicants we'll have just because we don't expect to have any applicants until the final weeks because we're going to be working on these applications for the entire 6-week training program.
And you're offering a lot of resources, so obviously a diligent process to make sure that you're picking individuals that are really appreciating the resources that are available.
And we've had so many awesome girls come to training so far, so we're super excited about that.
Hannah, impressive individual, impressive speaker yourself. Peggy, thank you. Valleyfest has been a wonderful organization. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Next up on House to Home, host Clyde Haase sits down with Larry from River Ridge Hardware to discuss what you should be thinking with your property and your house this spring, if spring's ever to come.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. Here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
And welcome to House to Home. I'm Clyde Haase, your host, and it is a great winter day. Joining me today here is Larry with River Ridge Hardware. Larry, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I had given you a call and I said, Larry, we have some issues to be taken care of in our home. What are some of the items that are coming in your front door at your store that people are having problems with already?
Well, in terms of pipes that they weren't able to get turned off, where they're busted or iced up already to a point of breaking, and outside leaky faucets and not knowing what to do with them.
Well, let's put it this way. When you have 10, 12, 14 degree temperatures, you got to stop and understand your home, right?
Exactly.
Your home has a heartbeat to it, folks, and you need to understand what it's saying to you. If there's a lack of circulation of the water in these cold nights, you have to actually crack the faucet in that far bathroom or in that area that seems to not get as much heat, right?
Exactly, yep.
And just let it drip.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a cheap fix compared to a pipe that's broken, because then there's a flooding take place, right?
Exactly. Or it doesn't flood right away. It might flood when it defrosts.
Okay. But understand your home is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, yeah.
Keep that door open to that room in the back that has a pipe around it, and understand where those pipes do run, and understand that they can freeze hot and cold, right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
So you need to always look at that and say, where is the area that is most vulnerable for this cold weather? Okay, we've been talking about that, but I'm also talking about the icicles. We had talked about that one other time. We need to go in and really be safety number one, but they need to be removed as safe as you can, right?
Exactly. Yep, get them off.
And you have a tool that can actually reach up and maybe help you out on.
We have a roof rake, yes.
Okay.
It's actually very affordable. It's I think it's under $40, 30 something, and go up, and it has wheels to just kind of pull down. But at worst, you could reach up high and knock off those icicles.
Well, I think the number one, folks, that we want to be talking about is that safety is number one. Icicles hanging out are beautiful, but they are a definite hazard. Don't let the kids do it, folks. You go out and do it, and you handle it with one of these rakes and something that's really safe.
Exactly.
Any other quick tips in for right now at the cold weather? We got about 30 seconds.
No, just stay warm, have fun. It will go away, and I'm one that I like the four seasons. So get outside and at least throw a snowball.
There you go, and I like that. And Larry, how do we find your location?
2803 West Garland. Phone number is 509-328-0915 or riverridgehardware.com.
Folks, you've heard it from the expert. Go out and see him. Bring your questions. See you next time on House to Home. I'm Clyde Haase.
Thanks.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeice Wheeler Attorneys. McNeice Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeice Wheeler Attorneys.
Welcome back, folks. I'm Clyde Haase with House to Home, and I forgot to ask Larry a question. When you go to River Ridge Hardware, you're going to find answer for everything. And Larry, I have a mailbox that has a key into it, and the mailman said, I can't deliver your mail because it's frozen.
We have lock de-icer.
I told you he's got the answer. Okay, and what happens with that?
Basically, it's spraying in a de-icer. At the same time, it's throwing some lubricant in there.
So it's going to do a dual purpose. It's going to keep the ice from building up. Now, that can even apply to our front door. And what about our car door?
Oh, they're great for car doors. If you start feeling where it's tight in there, you want to get some kind of lubricant in there. The de-icer actually will melt whatever is icing up in there, because if you dropped your keys, whatever, and at the same time throw some lubricant in there.
Well, that's a long-range plan. Now, do you have to do this all the time or what?
Honestly, if you did it once a year, would be fine. But I think nobody really, especially their cars, we're so used to just sticking the key in and going.
I know. Well, and Larry, what we're also saying is that we need to keep that walkway to the front always open for the mailman and also for the ingress and egress of packages coming to us, or even ourselves coming into.
Exactly.
And you recommending pellets to be used along the sidewalks?
Yeah, I either ice melt, or if you're worried about your sidewalk breaking up from any de-icer, At worst, just putting subtraction sand down. I'm a big believer that warms up itself, helps break up the ice a little bit, keeps your sidewalk. Or just bring a plate of cookies to a guy down the street that has a snowblower.
There you go. But I like your idea. Let's use some natural product. Let's use some traction sand. Put it on that walkway. Eliminate the ice. Eliminate the particular problems. Larry, River Ridge Hardware, you've always got the answers for us. I know we really count on you. Until next time, folks, be safe. Enjoy the winter. Spring is coming. We'll see you next time on House to Home.
Thank you.
Next up on Startup Spokane, the #1 fastest growing spice company in the United States, Spiceology.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeice Wheeler Attorneys. McNeice Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeice Wheeler Attorneys.
I'm your host, Steve Trabun, and joining me today is Pete Taylor, founder and CEO of Spiceology. Thanks for joining me today, Pete.
Thank you.
You know, what an incredible story you're about to share. Local entrepreneur, high growth company. You're on the back of a rocket ship. Talk about Spiceology, what it is, and what you're doing.
Spiceology, bunch of passionate chefs that got together and decided to do spices differently. We sell over 225 different ingredients, spices, herbs, chilies, blends, salts. We specialize in blends. We do a lot of unique blends, never seen before blends, like world's first black and blue seasoning, which is blue cheese and Cajun spice, which is great on popcorn. And we sell all over the globe. In the U.S., you can find us in grocery stores. You can find us in big box retailers. You can find us on Amazon,
right?
Spiceology.com. Lots of mom and pop shops.
Yep. And you've been at this for how long?
It's coming on 6 years in April.
Yeah, and you have over 40 employees.
Just under 40.
Or under 40.
Just under, yeah.
You've changed locations how many times?
5 times in 5 years.
So for an order of magnitude, that's all based because that all happened as a result of growth, right?
Yeah, just poor planning and doing better than you thought you were going to do.
And we have this great display of products. You see these the big bulky ones that we'll talk about in a minute, but the 12-pack that you call it.
The cute little minis.
Yeah, talk about just a little bit about, sort of how your packaging is, what you're catering to, what kind of customers. And
yeah, so we have a home collection line, which is for, anybody. You can use at your home. And then we have a food service line. So with our home line, we have quite a few different blends that you can choose from, and then we sell we call them A to Z spices. If you need a jar of cinnamon or basil or what have you, you can order it all online. And then we have the large containers, and that's our food service line. And as you can see, we added a little bit of an organizational element to the packaging. It's called the periodic table of flavor. Keeps all your salts with the salts, they're all blue. All the spices with the spices, they're all yellow. All the herbs with the herbs, they're all green.
Fascinating and unique, and what a unique set of blends. And sometimes they fall off the pyramid, right? How do people find it here locally?
So locally, we're in quite a few stores. Everything from and I could go on and on.
That's okay.
I'll just say Kitchen Engine, Main Market Co-op. We're in Safeway Albertsons. We're in Huckleberries. We're in Williams-Sonoma. You can order it online.
Online at Spiceology.com, in the Amazon Marketplace.
Correct.
So, you're selling these globally, and just what a great story. And when we come back, we're going to learn more about Pete's company, Spiceology, and the journey that they've been on. So stay with us on Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks. Welcome back. We're having a great conversation with Pete Taylor, CEO and founder of Spiceology. Pete, we've talked a lot about the product. Let's talk about the journey. Talk about how you started back in, I think, 2011, 2012?
Yeah, I was a chef, and I had this crazy idea. I actually leaned towards Kickstarter, which is a crowdfunding platform, and I did a Kickstarter campaign, and it actually worked out. And next thing you know, I'm like, well, do I quit my job? What do I do? And I actually heard about Startup Weekend, was coming to town and participated in that first event and did a good job.
Yeah, you won, right?
Yeah, I came in first, and that sort of validated everything. And I took that leap of faith, quit my chef job, and started the business back in 2012.
Yeah, and you've been on this just incredible, growth trajectory. So let's, talk a little bit about that and how you've been able to, fund and grow the business.
Well, I think like outside of funding, how I managed it, or how we managed it, was leveraging a lot of the resources locally. There's a great entrepreneurial ecosystem in Spokane because, I've never been there, done that. So very, very grateful for all the people in Spokane that helped out. And then funding, there's the crowdfunding. Helped out quite a bit. We did a friends and family round, and then we just did our first Series Seed round.
Yeah, in which you closed $2.5 million,
Correct.
right? I mean, just what an incredible story for a lifestyle-oriented business. But you're demonstrating that. Now with nearly 40 employees, and the scalability and selling globally.
Yeah. Daily challenges, but it's a rocket ship, like you said earlier. It really is, and it's quite the ride.
Yeah. So what's next? What's the next big thing for Spiceology?
Yeah. So 2020. We're really focusing on products. We're launching quite a few new products in 2020, which. In 2018, we were focusing on building our teams out and getting our processes, our partners, our procedures down. So products, 2020, and a lot of things are top secret. Can't really talk about it now. But
if people are interested in learning more about Spiceology, where do you guide them to?
So Spiceology.com.
Okay. And that's great. Thanks for joining us today, Pete, with Spiceology. Another great story of success in entrepreneurship in our region. Thanks for joining us on Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Media.
Cindy Hval is a freelance columnist and correspondent for the Spokesman Review and author of War Bonds, Love Stories from the Greatest Generation. The view from her porch is usually sunny.
Someone, somewhere in corporate America, apparently decided that customer service employees needed to engage their customers by asking, "So, got any plans for today?" The result? Everyone from baristas to grocery store checkers now want to know about my plans. And honestly, most of the time, I don't want to share them. I was doing my shopping as usual at the end of a long, grueling day. I was tired and talked out. The cashier asked, "Do you have any plans for tonight?" What to do? Lie and feel guilty? Or tell the truth and engage in a conversation I really didn't want to have? I opted for brief. "Yes," I said. "Oh, what are you going to do?" she asked. "I'm going to a movie with my family," I said. "You know what comes next, don't you?" "What movie are you going to see?" And that's how I discovered the checker had never seen any of the Lego movies, nor had she ever played with Legos as a child. I think this trend started at coffee shops because they seem to hire the friendliest and most relentlessly extroverted people. That's all well and good, but when you're not a morning person, it's excruciating to have your coffee held hostage by conversation. Recently, my son took me to lunch for my birthday. As we were being seated, the hostess asked, "So, any plans for today?" Before we had a chance to reply, she grinned and said, "Or maybe that's top secret information." "Yes," I smiled and said, "yes, it is." That conversation led me to the perfect response to that rather annoying question. Next time a stranger asks about my plans for the day, I'm stealing a line from the movie Top Gun. I'll simply smile and say, "It's classified. I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you." And that's the view from my front porch.
Thanks for joining us this weekend on Spokane Talks. See you next week for more news, views, and conversation.
Spokane Talks is about you. Give us your feedback and comments at info@SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Spokane Talks is brought to you in part by McNeice Wheeler Attorneys, River Ridge Hardware, and Rada Paint. We'll be back next week with additional news, views, and conversations. Please join us. So long for now.